Only on Tuesdays.
Apparently he's the better one. He just claimed it.
Oh,
Okay.
damn.
So this is a new one, and I hope you guys like it. It's kind of different from the stuff I normally do, but Carly inspired me. So this one's kind of about something dear to her heart, and it's a true story. So, with 9 millimeters of salvation in his trembling hands, he paused for a moment. He never considered himself much of an artist, so he smiled at the fact that he was about to paint a mural on the ceiling. Stop. Nobody wants to know how that story ends. But we all want to know why. Why a boy who was always smiling, whose laughter was a freight train. Why a 13-year-old boy. Why a 13-year-old boy whose motto was "It gets better" couldn't think of a better way to express himself than to paint a picture with the brightest shade of red that he could think of. Why? Because he loved with such a love that the angels envied. Because he loved with such a love that the people around him just refused to understand. But the masses as a whole don't generally understand Shakespeare either. So it follows that they couldn't grasp the concept of a boy wanting nothing more than to spend one night with Romeo. Why? Because some children never learn the language of hate. Some people are hard to understand because the only language they speak is half English and half God. I think that we can all learn something from the people whom doctors would say feel too much. Because I would argue that God feels too much. That's why we can see the Grand Canyon from the moon. Why? Because we're all his children. And we're all too busy looking at the differences between us to see the stars in each other's eyes. We're all too blind to realize that strangers are just our sisters and our brothers who we haven't seen in a while. We're all too jaded to recognize that the most beautiful curve on any woman's body is her smile. And sometimes it takes borrowed lines to say what must be said. Sometimes we have to say things one more time for them to sink beneath our skin. With 9 millimeters of salvation pressed between his trembling lips, he finally got to meet Romeo.